It's July the 1st, 2000, a family reunion of the W.W. Gainey family. I'm Hollis Gainey. Standing to my right is my wife, Nell Gainey. Standing behind me is my oldest son, Dan Gainey, his wife, Catherine. I'll let him introduce his three boys here in the front of us.
Well, starting from your left, working right, is Derek and Ryan and Dylan.
Eddie?
You going to introduce Catherine?
He did, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Eddie Gainey, and my father was Bobby Gainey, brother of Hollis down here. This is my mother, Johnny, my sister, Lana.
He's rather confused.
I stay confused. This is Lana, my sister. My other sister couldn't be here. And these are her kids, Rebecca and Brandon's wife, Hattie. And we're just glad to be here.
And most of you live in which part of the state?
Dallas.
Dallas area. Eddie's from Dallas.
West Texas.
West Texas, Colorado City.
One of our daughters is not here. Her name is Rhonda Puckett, and she and her husband Ronnie live in Gig Harbor, Washington. And their children are Katie and Brant.
And I might add, we represent the West Texas wing of the Gainey family. That's where we're from. So,
Although some of us have never lived there.
We're from East Texas.
We're from East Texas, but we presently live in North Texas in the Dallas area.
And our son Patrick is not here. He is recently married, and his wife Rochelle, and they live in Lubbock. And they couldn't be here today.
And their anniversary's in 3 days. They've been married 1 year.
Right.
Fantastic. Y'all did just great.
Right, very good.
So we're the children of Ora Gainey Darcy. She married John Spear Darcy. They had 2 girls, my sister Maddie Lee Darcy and me. My sister married John Smith, and I married Hubert Smith. So our children are all Smiths now. We have one of my sister's family here, her son, Greg, and I'll let him tell you about what he is doing. And then I will let each of my children introduce their families. I have 2 boys and a girl. We'll start with Randy, and he can tell you his family.
You got 2 girls and a boy.
2 girls and a boy.
Okay, excuse me, 2 girls and a boy.
Okay. My turn?
Your turn.
I'm Randy. This is my wife, Marcy. This is Jackson. This is Jessica. Down there is Kelly. And this is Leslie. We're from Willis, Texas.
Julie.
I'm Julie, and this is my husband, Tom Shelton. And these are my children, Cullen Shelton, Carrie Shelton, and Kaylin Shelton. I have one son who is busy working today, and his name is Chaz Shelton. And we live in Rosenberg.
And I'm Gretchen Llewellyn, and my husband is not here today. He's working, so he didn't get to come. But anyway, I'm Gretchen Llewellyn, and this is Darcy and Garrett Llewellyn. And if you'll wait just a minute, our famous dog, come on, Nana. Nana, I hope you get that on tape. She's been to every reunion since we've had it, that she's been able to be here.
Okay, and we have Greg.
And Marianne is my aunt, and I live in Houston.
What do you do?
And I teach college, and my mother's name is Maddie Lee Darcy, and she was Gainey, and she was your sister.
Anything else?
Anything you all want to add? Okay, thank
you very much.
Before y'all move, let me take your picture here.
Okay.
This is my mother, Gay Riley. This is my wife, Nancy Pugsley. This is Nick Gainey, and he's from England, Liverpool to be precise. This is his son, Jake, and Jake, I guess, is also from Liverpool. He is. And Jake's a student. Now, I'm not going to tell you the entire history of the family because that would take a couple of hours. But I would like to first start by saying that my mother is a Gainey. And I'm sorry? My mother also will correct me as I go along, so it'll be kind of a haphazard speech I'm making now. She says she's the oldest, and she is old. Now, her her father was Arlen Gainey, and he was my grandfather. He passed away in the mid-50s, although I do have a very vivid recollection of spending a lot of time with him and with my grandmother. We particularly learned, he taught me how to garden, grow tomatoes and have a nice garden, and that's a skill I've kept my whole life. And in fact, my wife and I have a garden every year, and I just sent my mother fresh tomatoes not more than about a week and a half ago. So I really do have some great recollections of my grandfather. I also have a brother, Pat Riley. He couldn't be with us today. He's working. He works in works in Nacogdoches. I live in Houston. I'm with the University of Houston with the College of Business there. I teach in the entrepreneurship program. My wife is with Chase Bank. She's been a banker for as long as I can remember. She's been with Chase for about 22 years. My mother is finally retired, although she mostly spends time on the weekend, I think just thinking about the family and things that happened to her as she grew up. I'm really happy to be here. I've been to a number of these. Of course, we had other family that grew up in Priscilla and Grapeland, and I've spent a lot of time around this place, digging up peanuts and eating peanuts from around here, and going to watermelon farms and everything else around here. I just have lots of pleasant memories of this area. And I think probably that's more than I'm supposed to say. So I'm gonna let Gay talk, because if I don't let her talk, she's gonna really be unhappy with me.
To bad person. I can't add much more. Is that okay? We're happy to have our guest, and hopefully we will have a place for a reunion next year. I'm concerned about that, because to see all of your faces here is so lovely, and it's great to be together.
And we're really proud to have Nick and his son with us. As I said, we have such a small family. We thought we'd import some of this European influence, give a little class to this whole presentation. So we appreciate him sitting with us.
Nick, we'd like for you to speak for the European branch of the Gainey family.
Thank you. As mentioned, I'm Nick Gainey, and this is Jake Gainey behind me. We live in Liverpool, and if you don't have a venue for your family reunion in 2 years' time, just come over to Liverpool. We'll keep it quiet from my wife until the night before the yes, we're connected to the, we're the Gaineys that never left America, never left the UK, and they came from Gloucestershire as far as we know. And we were at the Georgia reunion last year, and we might possibly be at the Georgia reunion this year as well, in August. We're very grateful to Marianne for inviting us out here. This lovely spot. We've done a lot of touring in Texas just prior to coming to the reunion. We've been out to Big Bend, and we've seen, where is Hollis? We've seen cows, which we previously thought were coyotes, but apparently they're cows. So, thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
This is Mike Young.
I am Helen Walker. I am the youngest child of Will Gainey family. There were 7 of us. There was James, Allison, James, Mary Lee, Allison, Earl and Merle, Laura Sue, and me, and I'm the only one left. My husband is Lamar Walker. We have 4 children. None could be here today. One that's in Germany really wishes she could be here today. She's going to miss this, she says. And we live in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. I think I said 4 children, 7 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. And now I'll turn it over to each of the nieces and nephews.
I'm Don Morgan, and I'm married to Bernice Kuhn, who was the daughter of Mary Lee Gainey. And we live in Houston. We have 3 children, 2 of whom are here, and they will speak for themselves. The one who could not be here is our daughter Susan, who lives and works in Dallas. Don, you're on.
I'm John Morgan. I'm the youngest child of Don and Bernice Morgan, and I live and work in Houston, and I am unmarried.
I'm Don Morgan Jr., and this is my wife, Betsy. We live in the Houston area as well. And we have 2 children who are faster than I am. And they are Joshua and Andrew, they both couldn't be here. They're at camp this weekend.
Somebody else.
I'm Molly Gainey Stanley, and this is my son Ryan behind me and my daughter Kelly Stanley. And I am the daughter of Merle Gainey. And Kelly and I live and work in Riverside, California. Ryan works and lives in San Diego, California. And for those of you that don't know, California and the Southern California area are the very farthest west part of Texas. And we're very happy to be here. And I have one sister, Peggy, who is from the East Coast, and she was not able to be here today.
I'm Lila Gainey. I am the daughter of Allison Gainey, who was the son of Will. This is my son, Kyle Gainey. We live in Portales, New Mexico. I was an only child. He's an only child.
Margaret Walden, my husband James, my son Brian, this is my sister Mary, and her daughter Kathy, and then Cheyenne. We live in Fort Worth. They live in Crockett. I have a brother Jerry, the daughter of Laura Sue Gainey, which is Will Gainey's daughter. What else did I say?
That's it.
I guess that's it.
Did good. Okay, John, turn
Is there anybody else in our crew? Okay.
Hey, wait a second. Let me take a shot. Oh, okay.
Go. Okay, you're on.
I'm Frances Smith, daughter of Albert Gainey, who was the 3rd son in the Gainey family. He married Lola Mae Dennis. They had 4 children. I'm the oldest of the family. This is my husband, Lester Smith. This is my daughter, Susan, and her husband, Mike, and Susan.
We have 2 sons, Jordan 19 and Nicholas 21, and they couldn't be with us because they were both working. And Mike is from West Texas, from San Angelo. And we also have with us my Uncle Don. And he was married to Martha Sue Gainey, who was the 2nd child of Albert and Lola Gainey, and who has been a big part of our family and the reunions for many years.
And the next child in our family is Martha Sue, as Susan told you. Then the youngest one is Wanda. Wanda can't be with us, couldn't be with us today. She has 1 son, Hugh, and his wife, who couldn't be with us today. And my father bought the Gainey farm, the original Gainey farm, from the heirs, and my brothers and sisters and I grew up there part of each year until we were old enough to leave. So we had the opportunity to know all of the Gainey family when they came here to visit, when they lived here, or when we visited them. And it's been a wonderful life, and we're grateful to all of them. Oh, my brother Al, who can't be here, I'm sorry, got out of sync. Al was the second child, second oldest child. He has his wife Molly, who couldn't be here today. He has 2 daughters. He lives in California. One of his daughters lives in Fort Worth, and the other lives in Colorado.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Oh, I didn't want that. Whoa.
You're on.
I'm a first cousin, Vera Richards. My mother was the oldest Gainey. And I'm single.
Okay. I'm Elizabeth Raleigh. My grandmother was Susie Gainey. I live in Bryan with my husband Bob. And we live 2 doors down from Vera. And I'm a nurse at a nursing home there. And we've lived there for 15 years. And I have 2 children. Heather Louisa Valdez, who's a teacher in McKinney, Texas, and my son Trey is over in Kosovo right now. And that's it.
Thank you. You did good.
Go away.
You're ready to go.
Okay, you're going to do that introduction thing?
Sure. Are you going?
Yeah. I'm not.
These are the great-grandchildren of William Wiley Gainey and their spouses.
Just the one great.
The grandchildren.
These are the grandchildren.
These are the grandchildren
That's right.
of William Wiley Gainey
That's good.
and their spouses.
So there's a whole bunch of cousins here. Anybody have anything they'd like to say?
I'm happy to be here with all these fine people.
Amen.
Way to go. Anybody want to take still pictures? An exclusive picture of the grandchildren of William Wiley Gainey. They're all first cousins, and what a distinguished group. Anybody want to say anything?
I agree. We do
All right.
have 2 other first cousins.
Wait, hold it. You turn the camera back on. Okay, go ahead, Mary.
Okay, we have a few other first cousins who didn't get to make it to this particular reunion. Harold Gainey, a brother to Hollis, and Wanda Gainey, sister to Francis. And have I left anybody out?
And I left out my youngest daughter, Pamela Smith. She's at Richmond State School. She's a very important part of our family, and I know she'll forgive me. Thank you.
And Albert. Oh, Albert, yes. Albert Gainey in California. He's,
Yeah, Albert.
okay. But not in, and he's, lives in California. Is that out? Is that everybody?
I believe that's it.
Okay. Any more suggestions?
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Look this way one time.
In 1946, my family was just camping out here at the clubhouse, and Hollis Gainey and Arlen Gainey and Walter Gainey came to Grapeland to visit, and we were out here and they came out to see us, and they thought this was really a neat place and would be lots of fun to have a reunion of the Gainey brothers and sisters. So they got together and talked to some of the other members, and they decided in '47 to have a Gainey reunion. It lasted a whole week, and all of the family came. Some of the people had never, some of the children had never met some of the other children, and one aunt had not met another aunt. Aunt Helen and Aunt Ethel John had never met each other. After that, we had it every year. Most of the time it was for a week, and by the weekend, the children and grandchildren of the brothers and sisters who were having the week-long reunion came, and then we had a great big lot on those 2 days, Saturdays and Sundays. We continued this until my mother died, and that was about 10 years that we had a reunion like that. And then we stopped. We didn't have it for a number of years. And Mary Lee and Janie Richards McPherson decided to have one, and they had it at Austonio that year, and I do not know the date. In all, we've had 2 reunions at Austonio and 1 reunion over at our little house over across the lake, and the rest of them we've had here. In about 1985, we started with this group that comes now, and we've had it every 2 years ever since. It might have been 1986, but we've had quite a few since then. And we just have lots of fun, and more people get to come, and we get to know more family members, and our children get to know their rest of their family that they would not know if we did not have this. I can't think of anything else to add. Do you all have something you remember that you want to add to it?
I can just remember that we owe a great deal of thanks to this lady for the hard work that she puts in to make sure that this happens every 2 years.
Amen.
So 3 cheers for Mary Ann. Hip,
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 hooray!
Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
And thank you, and it's your reunion, and you're what make it really great.
That was quiet on the set. This is our English relative, we believe, Nick Gainey, and Nick's going to tell us a bit of merry old England.
Yes, it's a story regarding the origins of the name Gainey, which, as far as we can tell, it goes back to 1295. There was a knight called Richard who was given a plot of land in Gloucestershire by, I'm pretty sure it was Edward Longshanks, in 1295, and it's recorded in the Roll of Gloucestershire. It's called the Roll of Gloucestershire, and you can see it in Gloucester City Library in England. And it records that in 1295, Richard Ingania was given this plot of land. Ingania being the Latin word for clever, and it's from that root, that Latin root, that we get the word ingenuity. All the people that lived on his land, his serfs, were then known as Ingania's workers, Ingania's serfs, or whatever they were. And as I understand it, that Ingania, that Latin word, was corrupted down to Gainey. And certainly by 1595 there were Gaineys in that area. Variety of spellings, of course, as you had here in America, but we think that's where the name Gainey came from. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Anybody disbelieve that?
Thank you.
Yeah? Hold on.
Could you come with me over there?